Welcome to Power to Lie. In today's True, False or Framed, we are looking at the 2024 ceasefire claims real documents, false stories. 2 years ago, one classified document ended up in a German tabloid. By November 2024, an aide in the Prime Minister's office had been arrested over it. That is where this episode begins. You have heard both versions. Hamas was never serious about a deal, or Netanyahu blocked the deal to stay in power. 2 years later, neither claim has been independently verified. Nobody who was in those rooms has produced a corroborated account, and the negotiating texts were never officially published. We are saying this at the start as a conclusion, not an evasion. The evidence simply does not exist publicly to resolve either accusation. What does exist? Documented, time-stamped, confirmed in active court proceedings in one case, is how both stories were constructed. This episode checks 4 claims. 2 will receive no verdict, deliberately. The reason is the point of this video. This episode uses 2 verdict types. Unverifiable, meaning the public evidence cannot resolve it, a finding, not a failure, and meaning the underlying material was genuine, but what it was said to represent was not. What does standard fact-checking miss? It asks only whether the artifact is real. State the claim at its strongest. Across every round of 2024 negotiations, the argument goes, Hamas's public acceptances were tactical, accepting frameworks it knew Israel would reject, issuing demands it knew were non-starters, using the ceasefire process as cover while extending its position. It is a serious argument, and it may be true. Here's why we cannot confirm it. Hamas's negotiating positions reached the public through exactly 3 channels: Qatari and Egyptian mediators relaying accounts, Hamas's own public statements, and Israeli intelligence assessments passed to media. Each channel has its own incentive. Mediators have a stake in appearing effective. Public statements are curated. Intelligence assessments come from a party to the conflict. No independent, complete record of what Hamas actually communicated in those rooms exists. Hamas's sincerity is unanswerable, not because the evidence is thin, but because the only people who could resolve it are themselves parties to the dispute. The problem is not evidentiary. It is architectural. Our verdict: unverifiable. Now the mirror accusation, and it deserves equal weight. The argument is documented in serious investigative reporting, including a widely covered account by Pulitzer Prize-winning reporter Ronan Bergman. The claim: Netanyahu's coalition depended on far-right parties that opposed any war-ending agreement, so his own political survival was structurally tied to the conflict continuing, and that factored into the government's negotiating posture at critical junctures. Netanyahu has denied it, stating publicly that there would be no permanent ceasefire until Hamas was destroyed. Whether that reflects a strategic assessment, a political calculation, or both, is not answerable from the outside. Proving this claim requires proving internal motivation, and motivation is not observable. Far-right ministers including Itamar Ben-Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich publicly threatened to collapse the government if a deal was reached. That is a documented external constraint. It does not by itself establish that Netanyahu chose to honor that threat rather than override it. Our verdict: unverifiable. The 2 most repeated accusations of the year. Neither can be proven. But in September 2024, someone decided to help the evidence along, and that left a trail. On the 6th of September 2024, German tabloid Bild ran a story based on a classified Israeli intelligence document, presented as proof Hamas wasn't serious about a deal and was stalling. The document was genuine. What was not genuine was what it claimed to represent. The material was written by lower-level Hamas officials, not the leadership. Then the timeline: a Shin Bet and police probe, Feldstein's arrest that October, and on the 21st of November 24 his indictment for transferring classified information with intent to harm state security, a possible life sentence, plus illicit possession and obstruction of justice. Reservist Ari Rosenfeld was indicted alongside him. On the 11th of June 2026, the indictment was amended to add advisor Jonathan Urich, and Netanyahu was added to the witness list. No trial resolution yet. Defendants are due to respond on the 15th of December 2026, nearly 2 years after the original charges. The case also drew courthouse supporters chanting, "We are all Eli Feldstein." A divided society, not a monolith. In Khan 11 interviews, December 2025, Feldstein claimed Netanyahu was behind the leak. Urich, he said, texted him the boss is pleased afterward. That is an allegation by an indicted defendant. The Prime Minister's office called it false and recycled, denying Netanyahu ordered the leak, approved it, or had any connection to it. Neither is a verdict. Separately, Feldstein and Urich are under investigation in an unrelated Qatargate matter. Undisclosed Qatar contact. Pro-Qatar messaging to journalists. The two cases are unrelated. This episode covers only the Bild leak, and this must be said plainly. Proving deceptive framing in the Bild case does not prove who blocked the ceasefire deal. Claim A is unresolved. It remains unresolved after this segment. Our verdict. Framed. Now the same technique, deployed in the other direction. On the 6th of May 2024, Hamas announced it accepted a ceasefire proposal put forward by Egypt and Qatar. Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh delivered the news by phone to Qatar's prime minister and Egypt's intelligence minister. The announcement was genuine. The proposal? A three-phase framework covering a halt in fighting, hostage for prisoner exchanges, and phased Israeli withdrawal, was genuine. The line that spread worldwide was, Hamas accepted, Israel refused. That line erased a documented complication. Israeli officials said within hours that the text Hamas accepted was not the framework Israel had actually proposed. Netanyahu called it far short of Israel's essential demands. At the same time, Israel still sent a delegation to Cairo. That same morning, Israel issued evacuation orders for Rafah and moved forward with an operation there. Approximately 1 month later, the United Nations Security Council adopted Resolution 2735 on the 10th of June 24, welcoming the three-phase ceasefire framework, voting 14-0, with Russia abstaining. The framework continued to be negotiated. What the viral claim omitted was the documented dispute over which text was on the table. Neither party ever released it. Hamas's announcement went through official channels and Qatari-Egyptian confirmation. Israel's objection took the form of a public statement, not a published countertext. The full three-phase text, a halt in fighting, hostage for prisoner exchanges, phased withdrawal, circulated in mediator summaries, but was never published in its agreed or disputed form. That gap is what let a real disagreement collapse into a one-sentence verdict of blame. Whether the differences were genuine or manufactured returns us to claims A and B, and remains unverifiable. Our verdict. Framed. The two accusations from the opening remain unproven and will stay that way. The rooms stay closed. What 2024 demonstrated is that the most effective manipulation of a negotiation invents nothing. It presents a real thing as something else. A genuine document attributed to the wrong level of authority. A genuine acceptance presented as acceptance of a different text. The artifact checks out, the story does not. One asymmetry is worth naming. The Bild case produced a formal indictment because Israel has courts, a free press, and a security service willing to investigate the Prime Minister's own office. Where none of that exists, there is no equivalent record. And absence of a record is not absence of manipulation. If the document is real, is the story true? That's true, false, or framed for today. If you want to see conflicts mapped with data and context, check out Conflict Map. And if you want to understand how today's headlines were shaped by the past, watch History Behind the Lie. Both series are live now. Subscribe so you don't miss anything. Thank you for watching. See you next time.